Good afternoon. I'm KHOU 11 Meteorologist Chris Ramirez with your forecast for today. We are expecting some active weather for once as we head into the next few hours. It's been pretty quiet here across Houston, but that's not going to be the case, at least leading up until 5 to 6 p.m. Temps are quite warm out there. It is in the upper 80s, low 90s, but it still feels like 199 degrees. We're going to be under a weather impact alert from now until 6 p.m. this evening. So expect some heavy rain and some gusty winds with some of those storms. The impact will be low road visibility as well as some dangerous lightning with these storms that are moving through. This is all associated with a cold front that is slowly trying to make its way through southeast Texas, and we're actually seeing some of those downpours now moving in closer towards Montgomery County. I'm going to go ahead and step off screen here to show you a closer view of what's happening right now if you are tuning in. We're seeing some downpours and some lightning just to the north of Spring and around the Woodlands, the Shenandoah area in Montgomery County. That rain activity is going to start moving further south as we head into this afternoon. Right now, Houston's mostly dry as of the 12:30 hour. But also along the coast, we have more downpours that are moving into League City, even Galveston. So we have that sea breeze frontal boundary that's slowly going to start edging northward along with the combination of that front that's to the north of us there. But looking at the big picture, we are expecting this frontal system to continue tracking further south as we head into the next few hours. And it's going to really just slow down over us. And that's going to ultimately increase that flooding threat for Houston to Galveston, with the potential for some slow moving downpours, at least as we head into the afternoon. So that front moving through central Texas, now edging closer into the Houston area. We're already starting to see those showers and storms moving into the Spring area, even south of Houston, likely to see more of those heavy downpours as that front moves through. So it's looking more likely that the heaviest rain is going to be between the hours of 2 to 3 p.m. And like I said, that front slowly moving into Houston. It's going to want to slow down as it makes its way closer to Galveston. And so the Storm Prediction Center has actually included all of coastal Texas under that slight risk for flooding for today. That is a 2 out of 4 on the flood index scale. That does include areas from Huntsville all the way to Galveston, including Houston, Cleveland, Liberty, Columbus, El Campo. All of southeast Texas included under that elevated flooding risk as we head into this afternoon. So be on the lookout for those downpours, especially if you are making your way to and from work going into those evening hours. But behind this front is going to be some dry air in place. We've had those dew points in the 70s. It's been mostly muggy and humid, feeling a bit like summer. But once that front moves south of us, that's going to lower the dew points and ultimately lower the atmospheric moisture levels here across town. And that is going to bring some cooler morning temperatures. So expect those morning temps to be in the 60s heading into Friday morning. That's going to give us a dose of fall type weather as you head out the door on Friday. So these are some of the morning lows heading into Friday morning. But as far as the tropics, we are tracking some activity out in the Atlantic Basin. We have Hurricane Gabrielle, now a Category 2 hurricane off in the northern Atlantic, but there's 2 additional waves that we are tracking. One now has an 80% chance, one that's over the Leeward Island, and there's one that's in the mid-Atlantic that has a 90% chance of development within the next 7 days. We are expecting these systems to sort of remain over open water over the Atlantic. There is that one that might edge closer towards the East Coast U.S., but looking at the track of Gabrielle, that's going to continue moving off towards the east, not posing a threat to the U.S., but looking at that tropical organization, this front that's moving through Texas right now is going to keep those systems over the Atlantic. And like I said, we might see one of this systems, this wave that's right here over the Leeward Islands, that might edge closer towards the East Coast U.S. as we head into the next 2 to 3 days. The one that's further west of there might head towards Bermuda. Still too early to tell whether or not those systems models are not really in agreement in terms of that path. You're able to see all these zigzag lines, so the models are not really catching on. It's going to be interesting because this wave right here is going to come into contact with Cuba, and as we all know, tropical systems do not like land masses. So we're going to be able to see what the land mass of Cuba, actually that's the island of Hispaniola there, that could bring some some discrepancies in terms of where that system is headed. But looking at your 7-day forecast, highs in the 80s and 90s, lows in the 70s, at least as we head into the next 7 days. We are expecting a rainy afternoon for today, but then mostly sunny skies as we head into this weekend with some cooler morning temperatures, but afternoon temps are still going to be somewhat warm as we head into those afternoon hours. So definitely expecting those conditions to remain mostly just wet and muggy for today. And if you're just now joining the KHOU 11 plus extended forecast, so we're going to be under that weather impact alert from now until 6 p.m. with some heavy rain and gusty winds, low road visibility. We cannot rule out some possible road flooding with these storms, as this front that's currently draped across the central portions of the state, that's going to continue moving into Houston as we head into this afternoon. And we're already starting to see some of those downpours moving into our northern areas as we head closer towards the 1 o'clock hour. We're actually seeing some lightning with these storms in and around the Spring area and Woodlands area along I-45, even south of Houston, League City, Galveston, looking at more of those downpours. And so we're going to also expect those downpours to move through the city of Houston at least between the hours of 2 to 3 p.m. for today as that front. And like I said, it's not going to be a fast-moving front. It's going to want to slow down like it's doing right now once it heads closer towards the Gulf. And so this is ultimately going to cause the possibility for some slow-moving downpours, especially from Houston to Galveston, that could bring us some flooding concerns as we head into this afternoon. So be on the lookout for those downpours that could bring some potting on roadways and some wet roadways. And so basically, turn around, don't drown. We all know how it is here across the Houston area when it comes to heavy rain that happens for a prolonged period of time. Just remember, it only takes between 2 and 3 inches of rain to cause that ponding. And once we get closer towards the 3 to 4 inches of rain range, that really brings the potential for road flooding across town, especially along our southern areas. So the Storm Prediction Center including us under a slight risk for flooding. That is a 2 out of 4 on the flood index scale. And so that does include for areas for today. But once this front slowly passes south of the Houston area, it's going to bring some drier air in place. When we have that drier air in place, not only is it going to feel more comfortable outside, it is going to bring some cooler overnight temperatures, especially as we head into Friday morning. So it's more than likely that we're going to be waking up Friday with some temps in the mid-60s heading into Friday morning. And as far as the tropics, we are tracking 3 disturbances. Gabrielle not posing a threat to the U.S. and remaining over open water. We have 2 additional waves that the National Hurricane Center has highlighted. One that's over the Leeward Islands that's about to make contact with the island of Hispaniola. That's going to really cause some discrepancies in terms of where that system is headed because, of course, land masses, tropical systems don't like land masses. And then we have one that's over the central Atlantic that still has a 90% chance of development within the next 7 days. So as we look at Gabrielle, that is moving off towards the east, not posing a threat to the U.S., but it's these 2 additional waves that are currently over the Atlantic. You're able to see that right there. This one, the models are hinting that we could see one near the South Carolina coast, but it is going to be interesting going into the next few days as models are sort of in disagreement as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. We have wave number 1, wave number 2 that's currently over the Atlantic, but you have a lot of islands and you have Dominican Republic, Haiti currently right here. That's going to disrupt that system, and it's uncertain what's going to happen after it makes contact with the island of Hispaniola. So looking at the next 7 days, highs in the 80s and 90s, lows in the 60s, a rainy afternoon expected for today. We could see some leftover coastal showers into the early morning hours of tomorrow. But once we head into Friday and Saturday, it's going to be nice out there. Temperatures in the 60s, high temps struggling to make it out of the 80s for Friday, and it's likely to see that these 60-degree, these cool morning temperatures are going to be here to stay at least until the weekend, into the start of next week. So we are looking forward to that sort of fall-like feeling as you head out the door for those morning hours, especially starting on Friday. But definitely keep in mind that this afternoon is going to be a little messy across the Houston area as we head into the afternoon, and that's why we're issuing that weather impact alert until 6 p.m. And as always, we are tracking the latest on KHOU.com and the KHOU 11 app. Make sure to have those notifications on to get weather updates. We'll be tracking today's rain chances all throughout the day. Have a good rest of your day.